Hello and welcome to First Impressions. This is a show where each week my co-host Dash Hooper and I evaluate an album we've never heard before, and after playing it, we take notes and rate it in a variety of categories. And the album we're going to be looking at tonight, I have played before, so it kind of breaks our rules. But the reason that I've heard this album before and we're going to talk about it is because we are just honored to have Kenny Becker from the band Goon to come in and talk about the album with us. So it's always better when you can talk with the artist instead of me and researching on the internet, because they lived it. They were telling the story. So let's bring him into the show. Kenny, welcome to the show. Hi. Okay, now we're having audio issues. It's kind of crackling a little bit. So give it just a second.
There we go.
How is that?
That is good. Yeah, now we got you. All right, perfect. So,
sorry,
Kenny, first off, thank you for coming on. We appreciate you coming here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So I kind of write the questions beforehand, send them to the artist so you have a chance to think about them. But when we do the show, we always start off with the origin of the band, where I research them, find out where they came from. So can you tell us what's the origin story of Goon?
Yeah, I started the band I think officially in 2015, but even for a few years before that, Goon was an idea that I had, and I would play with friends under that name here and there, but I feel like I started taking it real seriously as a band around 2015, and put out some demos on Bandcamp that year. And a friend of mine, or sorry, it's a bug in here, found the demos on Bandcamp and he reached out. We weren't friends yet. His name is Jake. And he was like, "Hey, I work for a PR company, and I'd love to help out in any way I can, and really love your music." And so, anyways, he became my best friend, and we sort of became these collaborators. He was basically our manager, and kind of was like, "Hey, you should take those demos down off of Bandcamp and strip away a couple songs and then re-upload it, and we'll call it an EP, actually, not demos. We'll just, first EP, and we can throw a record release show at this little venue that doesn't exist anymore called the Bootleg."
Okay, yeah, I know that one. I'm based in Southern California, so
yeah,
I know that one. I went to it when it was still there.
Yeah, it was a good one. So that EP record release show thing happened, I believe, in September of 2016, and just kind of kept going from there. Worked on another EP, which the EPs were self-made, basically. I sort of would make these, I consider them demos a lot of times.
Okay.
Just wanted to make something that sort of sounded like a band, while not being really in a band, except then I was able to find friends and recruit them to be a part of it, and sort of play these songs, and then it did sort of morph into a band. So that's I guess that's the origin story. It was I really wanted it to be a band, but it was kind of not at first, and it was. And then it was always this thing of is this a band, or is this just Kenny's solo project, kind of? And I never really wanted it to be that.
Right.
But I was writing the songs and calling the shots and whatnot.
Yeah.
And yeah. As far as origin story goes, I feel like that's basically it.
Yeah.
There's been a lot that's happened since then, though. Yeah.
So the current incarnation that you have that you're playing with, those ones, were they playing with you in some of those early shows, or is that all different musicians that are playing with you now?
The current one actually only has one shared member from like, and her name's Tamara. She joined in like 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of like, I guess in a way it's been like 3-ish different lineups, with the third being like sort of most recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that one's kind of 2019 to now, that particular lineup.
The second iteration, I would say, is like 2019, 2018 to like present day, more or less.
Cool.
And the third one is like present day onward, almost.
Okay. So that one with this, I would assume that it's the third lineup that would have done the recording for this album. So how did your songwriting differ? I mean, it sounds like you've had a lot of different incarnations of the band. So for Dream 3, how was the songwriting different than the EPs or even your previous album?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's tied into the lineup thing a little bit, because Dream 3 was very it was like much more of like a solo effort on my part. The way I always kind of described it or thought about it, especially while making it, was like, this band has always had like the EPs and then like the albums, and they have felt very distinct from each other to me in regards to like not like seriousness, but almost like the albums have always been trying to really be something or do something, whereas the EPs have always had this playful sense of almost being like disposable, and therefore I almost feel like they end up being more exciting and interesting and irreverent in the process of creating the EPs. Like a lot of bouncing down on tape and like being kind of destructive with things in a way that's just sort of like, like, let's just do this, like, this is cool, like, it's just an EP, and like that is like such a fun premise. And then so the second album, Hour Between the Evening, was very much a live album at its core. It was like me, Tamara, Dylan, and Andy, which was that like second lineup, basically. That we went into the studio and laid down live tracks for these songs that we had rehearsed a lot over and over and over. And then having done that in the studio, I then took it home kind of into my own hands and added like interludes and string arrangements and like weird sounds and like stuff like that. So I was able to get my hands on it in like a way that I think made it more than a live album, just like a live band in a room thing.
Yeah.
But and I'm really happy with how that one came out. But having done that, my impulse after that was like, well, I want to make an.
Oh, hold on. We lost the volume. Hold on one second. Let me see. I'm checking the settings here. Okay. Yeah, we're not hearing anything, unfortunately.
I can hear Ed going, All
right. Well, let's see. We're trying to get it. I tried to turn it up. So 1 second. Technical difficulties. We'll get it figured out.
Talk to me, Kenny. Talk loud.
Nothing.
Let's see. Nothing. Dash, say something. I ain't heard you either.
You heard me.
Okay, there you go. I can hear you.
Yeah, get in there. And we're hearing it, Pop, so I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we're able
not
to hear it.
coming through. It's not coming through out there. While we're
Okay.
watching.
So not in the stream? Huh.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you
Loud and clear.
go.
Perfect.
Perfect. All
Okay,
right, I'm
sorry about that.
No worries. All
That
right.
was my phone's way of telling me to wrap it up. I feel
Ah,
bad.
how funny. Okay, so one thing I was wondering, because you're talking about the EPs and kind of the difference between those, is did you do physical pressings of the EPs, or do you just kind of stick with those as digital only?
I would make physical versions of them, but definitely not always on like vinyl. The only time that I think they have existed on vinyl is um, shortly after the origin story that I mentioned. We got signed to this label called Partisan, and one of the first things that they did with us was repress our first two EPs that we had put out, Dusk of Punk and Happy Omen, as a 12-inch with like one on each side. And then we added a bonus track called Choke Throat. And yeah, so that's I think as far as I know that's the only time that those have been on vinyl. But otherwise we'll do like tapes or CDs or stuff like that. But basically, I don't know if I said this before my mic started being bad, but like I wanted to make an album with the spirit of the EPs, basically.
Right.
The tapiness and the weird, like, I don't know, just more of a, like, not feeling burdened by how can we pull this off live, and just more of a, like, I just want to make a really cool record and worry about that later. And yeah, so
cool. Yeah, so you're the primary songwriter, and do you play all the instruments on the album, or do you bring those to the band and they play them for the studio?
It was both for this record. And that was kind of part of the fun and sort of loose, like, boundary of, I don't know, creativity or something in this record of like I liked being able to go into the studio and not feel like there were any rules, that it was just like I have a couple song ideas, and like I wasn't trying to like circumvent including people at all. I just kind of I like wanted to just be able to just do stuff, and like and some songs were very rehearsed, and like Sun Sweeping is a good example of that. That one was like a band song more.
Right.
But then a song like Toluca or Apple Patch comes to mind, or Fine even is actually one of my personal favorites, and I did play everything on those songs.
Okay.
I can remember. I think Dylan sprinkled some guitar on Toluca. I'm pretty. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he definitely did. Actually, he added some stuff. But it was like. But that was it. It was just me and Dylan, like on that song, and it just kind of was like cool to be like, cool. We can just call that. We don't have to like include every band member on every part of everything. We can just like, what does it need? What does it want? Like, let's do that and follow like our excitement, sort of, rather than
So when you were putting this out, as far as songwriting goes, all the songs that you have on this album, did you have any?
I can't. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear him?
I can. Yeah.
Oh, weird. I can't.
Okay, that's odd.
If you can ask him, Ed.
That is odd.
Okay.
So for some of the songs that he wrote for this, were all the ones that he wrote included, or did they drop some off?
So for the songwriting that you did for this album, what he was asking, because I guess I'll go through. We're having weird technical stuff.
Oh, whatever. It's okay.
StreamYard's not doing its job, so I apologize. But he was saying, did you use all the songs that you wrote, or did some songs end up getting cut and not make it to the final album?
Yeah. It's funny. I was actually just thinking about that and how, because pretty early on, I like decided I wanted to, like I said, do this EP thing, lo-fi, fun, like vibe. But like I did want it to sound like a record. I didn't want to like cheap out on drum sounds, and I wanted to be able to like. So I was kind of like, oh, I wonder if I could have like studio time somewhere, or just like a few days. Anyways, I met Claire Morrison, who has a studio, and she and I became like collaborative partners in this. And so she was super down to like do it like very mixture of like hi-fi studio stuff and lo-fi tricks and whatever in the studio, which were very time-consuming processes, but they're really fun. She was super down for all of it. So anyways, it spawned this like working relationship where I would come in and I'd be like, okay, should we start a new song today or something? And a lot of times we would. And what's crazy is I actually do think we used, I think with the exception of like 2 or 3 songs, we used everything. Okay. And that's why the record is like 13, I think, songs long.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So when you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, nothing. I just, yeah.
Yep. So when you worked with these songs, did you see any of them kind of change when you brought them to the band, the ones that were the full band songs, or did they kind of stay in the original form that you wrote them?
There wasn't a lot of like, because I do think, yeah, sometimes that is a fun thing to try where it's like, oh, here's a guitar song that I have. Let's try it. And then we do. And then it's like, actually, what if we kept the song the same, but we do it like a synth song instead? No guitars or something. We didn't really do that. It was very like, I don't know. I tend to not really work like that. And I feel like what works better for me personally is just like starting with something that already feels exciting. And so if I'm not feeling guitar vibes, I probably won't even like start with it. And I do think that's where like a song like Fine came from, where it was very weird synth based. And then from there, I feel like it just becomes a process of trying to figure out what does this recording like want, rather than what if we audition this or that? Because I don't know. And that might like venture into like personal, almost like pet peeve territory or something. I do think art making, you have to have like pretty strongly held opinions about really subjective stuff, but like I don't love pursuing songwriting in that way where you try it in almost like modular, like, oh, what if we try this with that? I think it's like, just start over, make something else. Like, I don't know, you don't need to try every option. Like, just find the one that excites you the most and then just go with it. Don't I don't know, but that might be a little bit of a tangent off of what you were saying. But
no, I mean it makes sense where you have kind of a preconceived notion of what the song needs to be, and it's not okay, let's tinker with it. It's like, no, this is where it needs to move to. And I think that, like you said, with any creative process, it's good to know where you're going to go. I mean, if unless you're Fish and you're a jam band playing around all the time, you come in with the song kind of in its proper shape, and now it's just, let the studio actually record it. So yeah, I definitely understand that.
Yeah. And I think like you can almost like, I don't know. I sort of feel like if I have like what feels like a good or like worthy musical idea, worthy of recording, it feels like there is this like strike while the iron is hot kind of feeling. And like, I don't think I'm going to get granted by whatever, I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm going to get like a bunch of shots at bringing this idea out into the world with like fiery integrity. I think you kind of just get like one shot at that.
Yeah.
And we delude ourselves into thinking that we will have many, many opportunities because we can do infinite takes and edits and try this and that. A lot of times that coolest thing just sort of just happens and you're just like, let's just go with that. That was so sick. Like what could I have improved upon that? I don't know.
Yeah. It's much more organic that way.
Yeah.
Not just tinkering it to death. And there are I know there's producers that will tinker and tinker and tinker and never feel quite satisfied, where when you're just kind of bringing it into the world, you bring it in that best way, almost like you're playing it at a show. Like, okay, you're playing it once, you can't play it over and over until it's perfect.
Right. It brings to mind just like feelings of like the question of like what even is perfect and what even is finished. Right. Like to me, finished is just like do something, and the second it's like keep going, it's exciting. It'll turn into work at some point. You will have to like put the work in to actually finish it. But then as soon as it feels like you're ruining it a little bit, just stop. Just hands up. Don't try to like you have to, but there is that like it has to go up and then go down a little and you go, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like
it reaches that point. And I know that you think of like the George Lucasing of his movies where he just won't give up. They'll never be perfect and he'll never stop messing with them.
Yeah.
And that's the worst way to do it. And I mean, if I reread any of my work, I could easily go in and change words here, change things there, but I put it into the world thinking this is the best possible form of it. Now, obviously, the more you read, the more you think that could be better. But once it's there, that's how it should exist. And I mean, you can't overstress yourself and just keep going and going, because it'll, like I said, it'll never be perfect. There is no perfect.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I know we're like probably have more questions, but I do feel like this is a subject matter that really excites me. I love talking about it. But like,
oh no, it's fine. I mean, I always write a bunch of questions, and most of the time we don't get them all covered because
okay, cool.
It's an organic conversation, and we're here to just kind of flow where things move. So
okay,
don't think we're obligated to go through every single question. I just write, like everything, plan more than you need, and then go with the flow of things.
Yeah.
I love that idea. And then when you're doing your songwriting, how do you approach it? Do you approach with all of these music pieces, or do you start with a piece of lyrics? Because your lyrics have a poetic quality to them. So do you write it kind of with this poetic beginning and then shape the music around it, or is the music there and you bring the lyrics to it?
Yeah, definitely lyrics last for me. But what I do try to do is avoid the pitfall of like deluding myself into thinking that I'm writing a really, really cool song just because I have a cool chord progression and beat, Like you have to sort of like jump off of the cliff of a melody over it and play with different shapes. Like, do I start it up here and swoop down, or do I keep it like monotone with like small movements, or do I start before the beat, after the beat, just like playing with form like that and just trying things. And similarly to like what I was saying earlier, I feel like I don't want to wait too long to try to get a singing melody on a cool riff or something, because it's like you can weirdly you can scratch that itch, like, oh, I did it, I made music, and it's like I did, and then and that's valid actually. Instrumental stuff is cool, but like I'm not trying to do that. I want to write like a song, and or with lyrics. I don't know. So anyways, just trying to like stay excited and follow the flow of like I can tell I really like a song idea if I'm like listening to it every chance I get, like in my car or headphones or whatever. And I'll be like humming just like nothingness over it, like like, you know, gibberish, to try to find a melody. And usually contained within that, I'll have like certain like English-ish sounding words, or sometimes the words will just kind of come out and I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. Like, and then, so I'll get like, okay, now I have like 7 syllables and I love the word, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like this.
Because you got to match the lyric, you know, and how it can fit into the song. That's interesting because, you would start, like you said, just kind of humming. And I've heard other singers in interviews talking about how they just kind of mumble hum so they can get that right rhythm into it and then build from there.
Yeah, because like to me, I feel like it's like a really effective song communicates from like multiple ways, and like a melody sung by the human voice over shifting chords is like that has a message in it already. It has a distinct feeling, and it could be this, a little bit of that, a little like weird, I don't know, but like so then it feels like the lyric writing process is both experimenting, but also a little bit of that like thing that like they say that like the marble sculptor is trying to, he knows that the statue is already in the block of marble, and that it's his job to find it, rather than he's not forcing his will upon this block of marble, but he's finding the statue that's already exists inside. And I kind of feel that way about lyrics. Like it's not like I go, okay, cool, I have a cool chord progression, a sick melody, and this many syllables. What do I want the song to be about? It's already kind of like it's already about something, and it's just like I'm trying to like find that.
You got to pull it out of there.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not going to be sitting there for you, but I mean, I think it's better unless you're not sitting there trying to force the issue. Like, okay, I want to write a song about, you know, cars or whatever, and then you can't find the vibe of it. It's like you kind of pull the song out of all of its components that are all there. So
and I mean, what's crazy is like I like, you know, it's helpful for me to think of it in those terms, like it's sort of something outside of me, and I'm like serving it, like what, you know, and I'm trying to like pull the meaning out of what is here, and I'm using my skills to like find what that is. But I also do like sometimes auditioning perspectives, and I almost like to think of, honestly, like in art, a lot of art in general, I think you think of as like, I like to think of as tensions between like two poles or whatever. And with lyric writing, as far as I think about it, it's like cryptic or like super expository, and specific to my data. Like I went to the street and this person, whatever, I don't know. And then super cryptic over here. And like, if I feel myself going a little bit one way, I try to experiment with the other, and then try to find how far too far is in the one direction or the other. And what's interesting is like finding how far too far is something with that kind of thing. I feel like you can get away with like a lot more than you think, in terms of just like, but I don't know, like bleeding heart emotional, like something that you might think is so sappy. It's like, try writing it and just see if it like sits there. Cause if it works, does that make sense? I don't know. I feel like
it does. And I think, yeah, because you can go, super straight ahead emo. I'm going to just scream out, all right, today was a bad day because this happened.
Yeah.
But sometimes a little bit of both where, okay, let me blur it, where let the vibes kind of the song tell you what it is. Because for me, I always, when I'm listening to music, I approach the lyrics after I approach the music. The music I will feel all of the emotions listening to this music where I know what they're trying to convey. And then after that, I'll dig into the lyric sheet and I'll look through and I'll try to read and interpret what's going on. But I've already connected myself to the song before I even tried to figure out what the lyrics are talking about. So I can see what you're saying with that.
I'm the same way, dude. I'm like, there's songs that I've loved for so many years that I've like only recently been like, that's what they're saying in this? That's crazy.
Yeah, I've hit a few where I started to look at the lyrics. I'm like, I just want to go back to not knowing what they're talking about.
Dude,
sometimes
I know.
It ruins it for you.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, we had a few last couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Was that we're in that position.
So can you hear him now?
Oh, try.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Wait, try again.
Can you hear me now?
Oh.
Nope. Dash is my silent partner today. So
I understand.
Yeah, I guess if you have something you want to ask Dash, drop it in the
I will.
The private chat, and I'll put it in there.
Just let him know.
I hope I didn't mess that up with my headphones. I'm sorry.
No, we're fine. And I told him just to put it in the private chat. So if
he
has anything, so yeah. So when I guess we've already kind of talked about how you do the lyrics, but have you ever written any lyrics that just felt too personal, and then you have to go play these songs on a nightly basis live, and you're just like, ooh, I do not want to revisit this place? Have you written any that hit you that way?
Like, yes, but not to that. Like, they've never hit me in a way that I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have written that. Like, this is hard. Because it has proven to be more like going out on the road and playing these songs in a different context in front of people when like they were born under the premise of like, or like they were born having not been played in front of anyone. They were total studio creations. And so the first time they ever really lived in front of people was after the record came out, which is sort of can be backwards to how it occurs. So it was interesting to like discover that after the fact, how it's like, oh man, these songs are so sad sometimes lyrically, and they really were. Some of them were written when I was more like the most heartbroken and in most pain I've ever been in my whole life, and yet playing them in front of people, I almost feel like it's like it's different. It's totally different. It's like I become a little more aware of like the fact that happened, and like I am now further down the timeline of time, and I almost feel like I'm witnessing the song from like a different vantage point, just like the audience might or bandmates or something. So it's, I mean, and of course occasionally it's just like, damn, I was so heartbroken, and it does bring me back.
And then that's the thing, it can be therapeutic to kind of throw it out into the world that way, because writing from a place of pain and then giving it to the world and seeing, okay, the other people are connecting to this, I'm not alone in the way this is going down. It feels good, because I wrote a book that was very therapeutic. It was dealing with all kinds of medical stuff that I was going through, and once I put it into the world, it was almost like, oh, I dumped this out of my system. I finally let go of all this pain, anguish, and all of these feelings. Not that they ever truly go away, but it's that movement into the world that I think helps you out in the end.
Yeah. It's funny too, though, because like talking about like timelines of things, like when you put that book out, I'm sure there were people that like maybe didn't know about that stuff yet or something. So like they read it and it's like new to them.
Yes.
But you've actually like done all this processing to the point of writing and finishing and releasing a book.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of like true for me too, where by the time the album came out, I feel like I was like well on my way of healing. But then I had to like super relive everything all the time to promote the record and tell people about it. And it is kind of funny that like you, the artist, will always sort of inherently be like ahead of the audience, and that's just part of it. But yeah,
that's true. And I had family members that didn't even know about it because, of course, if you don't post it on Facebook, half the time people don't know anything's going on in your life. And then every interview that I did was, people, okay, tell us how the origin of this book and how it came to be. And you got to relive it night after night. So that's definitely something to experience.
Yeah. But it's good to do because like people need to hear that. Like I found myself sometimes being annoyed or just like, God, this again, like I gotta, and it's like, no, this is weirdly my experience of heartbreak and hardship or whatever is almost part of this like I can be of service to others by like recounting my experience with integrity, even if it is happening over and over and over, because that's how we relate.
And there's always someone that's going to connect with how you feel. And that's why when you put it into the world, it's now the world. And they're coming in and thinking, oh my gosh, this connects with me. I remember feeling this level of upset or this level of sad. And you can process, they process it through you, which is always the power of music right there.
Dude, totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, for this album, did you have any songs that were difficult to translate to the live setting?
Definitely. I mean, there were some that were so difficult that we didn't even try.
Okay.
But also, I don't know. I think it was also like there's like that song "Fine" that I keep referring to is sort of like one of my low-key all-time favorite Goon tracks or whatever. I just loved how much I love
that one too.
Dude, thank you. And I actually think we could totally pull that one off live. The hardest one actually is "Begin Here" because it poses this very interesting kind of like studio versus like live question or problem of like, because the chord progression, I'm pretty sure it was like capoed, and then we probably like messed with the tape speed. So I don't know what key it's actually in off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it was capo 2, and the chord progression was F sharp, B, A. And the F sharp is 4 times, B 4 times, A 8 times.
Okay.
I knew that I wanted it to be that progression, but I wanted it to be reversed. So what we did is we recorded A 8 times, E 4 times, F sharp 4 times, and then reversed that. So it's the chord progression the chord progression plays forwards, but the guitars are reversed, right?
Okay.
And we did that for like the whole song. We like figured out what the whole thing would be like backwards, and then played that forwards, and then reversed that, and then tracked drums to it. And it was like so fun. And I just was like so pleased with how that came out.
Yeah.
And it feels like a very iconic sort of like that is like the character of that song. It's like it opens with that sound.
Yeah.
And so to replicate that live has been a real challenge, because it's kind of like, well, it would be super sick to like make a loop and then play it and then reverse it in front of people. But like, first of all, that's a little time consuming.
Yeah.
And like people being like wowed by like, oh, he made a loop live sort of like, to me, a little bit of a cheap thrill. Like, it's cool for sure, but like I'm not there to like show off the fact that I can make a loop and reverse it.
Yeah.
You know, like I just want to get into it. And so anyways, it for now has turned into like this version of like, I use this pedal that chops and reverses, but it's not like a perfect replica of the album version. It sort of approximates that feeling a little bit while just sort of, and then before you know it, the song is underway and it's just like, anyways, I have some ideas. I have some ideas on how to like potentially elevate that and actually pull it off without having to make a loop and not rely on tracks.
Yeah.
But that is always like I just love like that sort of challenge in a way of like, when we're in the studio, never ever are we allowed to be like, but how are we going to pull that off live? It's like, if it sounds good, just commit to it, make it in the song. Like, that's tight. And then like figure that out later.
Yeah.
Like so
you can't handcuff yourself worrying about how you're going to do it live.
Yeah. It's kind of a fun problem. Like, it almost gives me butterflies to be like, oh my God, how am I going to pull that off? You know, but I'm glad I did it. And in the recording, you know?
Yeah. And I know Dash was saying he's put in the private chat that Begin Here is his favorite song. So
dude, thanks,
he loves
man.
that one. And I've seen live clips of it, and I like the way that you have interpreted it live. And it kind of reminds me of when Radiohead put out Kid A and Amnesiac, and had to reinterpret all those songs to bring to the live setting, and it brought this new excitement to these songs that sounded entirely different but still the same.
Absolutely. Yeah. I always remember thinking that about do you remember when they did Moon Shaped Pool and that song Burn the Witch? And, like, that song, the recording is just like that weird orchestra, like clicky thing. Yeah. And then like a cool, like, you know, electric drum machine coming in. And and then I saw them shortly after that, and I'm like, how are they going to possibly play that? And they basically just made it into like a rock song, and they did sort of do it. But I actually really liked that it wasn't just like a triggered sample of that orchestra again, you know? Yeah,
they generally avoid bringing just simple loops in or something. They constantly are, you know, bringing up how to stretch it into the live act. So that's what makes them fun to see. I think I saw that tour as well, and it's always fun to see what are they going to do, how are they going to pull this off.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun. It's fun to sort of set that expectation. Like,
so I always ask the bands, like, they have the mythical Sex Pistols show it's said to have spawned some of these huge bands like Joy Division and the Smiths. And was there a show for you that you went to that let you know, I need to be a musician, I need to be in a band?
Dang, like, I would say yes, but it's hard to pin it to one show. Because I honestly, like, I've never, I mean, I think if I had to pick one, it probably would like be seeing Radiohead on the In Rainbows tour in San Diego, where I'm from. That was like a pretty momentous occasion for me, but like I didn't leave that going, I need to start a band. I think it was just like solidifying in my mind this idea of like a band where every member is vital, and if you're to be a fan of that band means you know Phil, Ed, Colin, Johnny, Tom, like you know all of them. And, and I was feeling like already like I'm writing these songs, I'm doing this thing, like but I want to be in a band. Like I want my friends, I want it to be, and it's funny because I don't know if it's like naive. I think it was a good effort. But I was, you know, I didn't know what I was doing even really back then. much less now in some ways. But I feel like like for me, it was more of like man, I'm sorry. I feel like I had something there, but then I kind of like thought about the opposite of it, and I was like, you know what? Actually, I don't know if that's true anymore, so I shouldn't finish this sentence.
Yeah.
But like, because honestly, I was also really inspired by like very like solo, like non-band music, if that makes sense. Which I think Pinback was a really good example of.
Yeah.
Which obviously they are a band. It's really just like two guys.
The two of them
have some kind of drummer sometimes, or maybe another guitarist for a live performance, but like it's Rob and Zach, and like their recordings very much don't feel like a live band.
No.
At least until Autumn of the Seraphs came out, and then it was more of a live kind of thing here and there, but like it has this like bedroomy kind of small feeling that I also was very like enticed by. And but yeah, I can't say that I was at any like legendary show that super like
it just made you made like this show shaped my life or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and who knows how true the Sex Pistols one even is. I think it's just become myth now, where it's like everyone there were 20 people in attendance and they all started a famous band.
Dude, you know what I actually might sort of have, like, this is not quite the same, because at this point I was dedicated to like pursuing music already, but I was still quite new in the LA scene and playing shows and stuff, and like still trying to meet like new bands and like meet people, and didn't really know how to like play a show in LA yet, but I was like going to shows, and I went to a show at the Smell and saw to see my friends in a band called Hot MT, which is an acronym for Hour of the Time Majesty 12.
Oh wow.
They're really cool, psychedelic, cool stuff. Really rad. They're friends of mine. I went to their show, and this band opened called Drag, DRAAG, and that performance, like, I had never been to the Smell before, and I was only there to see my friends, but caught Drag, and it blew my mind. It was kind of this feeling of like, I don't know how to break into this LA scene. I don't know any like cool bands or whatever. And then I see Drag. I didn't even meet them yet. And I was like, oh my God, here's the LA scene I've been like looking for all along or whatever. And what was crazy was like, I almost was like tricked because I saw them so early into my like LA music adventures that like I was tricked into thinking that like there were bands like this everywhere, you know, but in fact, Drag is just like a supremely special band. Yeah. Especially live, dude. It's like, that was crazy. I was like, oh my God, you can do like crazy heavy shoegazy mixed with Boards of Canada synths and like melancholy melodies and whatnot. And I was like, that's exactly what I want to do, kind of.
Yeah.
So anyways, they have remained, and they're some of my closest friends now in music. So anyways, that was, inspired.
They're one I haven't seen yet. I gotta check them out.
You gotta check them out. Yeah, they just, where are you guys?
I'm based in LA, and Dash it's Oklahoma, right? Yeah, so he's out in Oklahoma.
They are coming through Oklahoma in a few months. They just announced it. I think it's like April. They're going to be opening for Dive.
Okay.
And I don't know when they're playing LA next, but yeah, you have to see them.
Yeah, I will definitely keep my eye out, because I'm gonna trust your word, because I'm always looking for, the next great concert to go to.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of switch it up a little bit and talk about the art for your album. So
Yeah.
you do all of the art yourself. I'm assuming they're painted works. So
Yeah.
are these album covers something that you had already painted and they kind of match the vibe of the album, or do you create them after the album's done?
I made them after the albums are done. So far, I've done that every time. And yeah, I guess going back to like talking about origin stories, that was something that like I just liked the idea of. And honestly, the influence of Radiohead is there too. I remember like early on, I was kind of like, wouldn't it be crazy if I was like my own Stanley Donwood or something? And like, you know, because I just love painting. I've always loved it. And yeah, actually, I didn't even mean to do this, but that's the Hour of Green Evening painting right there.
Oh, that's so cool.
For the second LP.
Yeah.
And Dream 3 is right over there. It's much bigger. It's like 3 feet by 3 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, it was made after the fact, and I had been honestly similar to the lyric thing about like trying to like a little bit force my will, but more than anything try to like draw out what already seems to be there. I wanted the album art for this to kind of be the same thing, where it was like I had ideas for it to be this ambitious, weird painting that I hadn't done anything quite like yet. And I just, yeah, I really liked the idea of like, I honestly, sometimes I just get inspired like walking around an art store and I happened to see that you could get a pad of paper, except it wasn't paper, it was canvas paper. So it's like rigid, kind of primed already canvas, and there's just sheets of it for oil painting, you know, like primed for that. And it was like, I don't know, like $20 for like a bunch of sheets of it. And it would like, once it would get moist or like wet of some kind, it could buckle a little bit. So you had to learn how to like work with the, you know, I can see why stretched canvas is preferred, but I wanted to like paint these little like stickers basically and just like make these little weird still lifes and just collect like a bunch and like cut them out and then like assemble them and like rearrange them and paste them on top of each other and try different combinations. Yeah, and so there's a lot of like symbolism for all of the stuff in there, but it also, I think it just kind of looks cool and like that's what I was going for too. But
yeah, it definitely does that, because I always put whatever album we're covering into our now playing thing on top of the fireplace, and my wife saw that. She's like, "Ooh, what's this?" And she was immediately gravitated just toward the album artwork. And then
cool.
She always sits and listens to the albums with me and wanted me to say she loves the album. She's a big fan, and now
dude, thanks.
So yeah, she discovers a lot through me, and then sometimes she walks out of the room and says, I don't need to hear any more of that. But this one, yeah, she was here for it. So
wow. Dude, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Tell her thank you.
I will. So I got to ask, reviews for your album have been strong, but do you read the reviews or do you just avoid them?
I wish I could say I avoid them, but I do end up reading everything. And every time I do, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like that feeling when you like drink too much. You're just like, why did I have to do that? Like, what, like, but I will, that being said, it has been, I am so grateful too. Like, it's crazy because I really thought, like, when we were making this, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is the best album I've ever made. Like, even like halfway through making it, I was like, this is going to be so cool. And I'm just so excited to share this with people. And I know that feels a little like a packaged statement that you've heard before type thing, but it really did feel like, I was like, that is already like the reward in it for me. And just to have it be received like that has been just very, very cool. But yeah, it's like, it is kind of this weird feeling. It's kind of like that feeling like after you write like an email and then you like go back and read your own email or something. You're like, yeah, I wrote that real good or something. It's like, why did I do that? That's so weird. I don't know what my like weird Like, I don't think I'm a narcissist, but like,
Uh, it's hard not to. Honestly, if you have reviews out there in the world, I like to think I'm bigger and I won't read them, but no, I've read every one, the good, the bad, and the otherwise. And when you get a bad one, yes, it'll wreck your day for a little bit because I
yeah,
take them all personal. And I know as an artist, you're supposed to let it all roll off, but I'm not that strong.
yeah, I know. It's interesting because it's like it's you don't want to be making art like for, or you never want to like enter any kind of creative endeavor for the purpose of satisfying critical voices, whether they're real or imagined, you know,
Yeah.
'cause I carry around a lot of voices that are like, this is what this person would probably say.
Yep.
And it's like, first of all, maybe not actually. They might actually be kind of, you know what I mean? But like, I just have it so like, yeah, it's hard to get around that. And you know, actually though, this sort of reminds me of something you said earlier. Oh yeah, when we were talking about like finishing and perfectionism and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, of course, you could always return back to a piece and change something and presumably make it a little bit better, a little bit more closer to perfection every day. And if you do that, you'll never release it, right?
Yeah.
And you always just continue finding your mental like focus will end up just shifting more towards finding flaws than like making something beautiful, you know, and you'll be more about that kind of thing. And so if you can break that and shift to like just try to make something beautiful and put it out into the world with like excitement and integrity, and effort, then do that. And then all the mistakes that are baked into it that could have been whatever, just react to that on your next thing. Like do like, and it's not, yeah. So, and then I think that is so much more of a fun way to think of being an artist too, that you're not ever trying to just make a masterpiece. You're sort of just like leaving a lineage of like paintings and songs behind you that lead all the way up to the moment you die, and then that's what you get to leave behind. And it's not like, and yeah, maybe one of them will sort of rise up against or above the rest somehow, for, you know, but like I remember like Van Gogh would like mention how like he considers his failed paintings just as important as his successful ones because they were all stepping stones that got him to the successful one. So like, yeah.
Yeah, everything builds into what's next, and learning from your mistakes is one of the best, you know, lessons you get from creation. Is like, okay, how do I do better? Because I think the worst review I ever got helped shape and make things way better in the future. After you kind of get out of the fetal position after you get your ass handed to you, and you realize, okay, what do I need to do? How do I get better? Because okay, fine, it was terrible. Now what? You don't throw in the towel, you get better. And I think every time something comes up, and you can look in your own mind and go, okay, that can be fixed, this can be fixed, because you look at your first anything, it's never perfect, but how do you get better every day?
Dude, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, so what lies ahead for Goon in 2026? What's your plans for the 2026? I see you have a European tour, but what besides that?
After Europe, UK and Europe tour, we're going to be opening for friends of ours and a band called Wunderbar. They're from Boston area, and we're going to be doing, I think, starting in like Denver, and then some like heading west up, and then like West Coast sort of dates with them, and that will be in May. So those two tours are coming up, and just been working on new tunes. There is going to be a B-side, a song that didn't quite make the cut that then did get finished after the fact as kind of like a, let's wrap up this B-side, that way we can like drop a B-side And that will be on a 7-inch in March.
Oh, nice.
And on one side is the B-side, which is called Atrium.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side is a song called Death Spells, which was a single that we put out in like December of 2024. Like right before we started putting out songs for Dream 3. And it was sort of like that one is kind of like the ultimate like breakup song kind of.
Okay.
Death Spells and Atrium do sort of go together, like thematically.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pleased that they are on a 7-inch together coming out. And actually, I swear I don't mean to keep doing this, but that painting right there is the album art for Atrium. And that one I did make before finishing. So that one was a pre-existing painting that was like auditioned for Dream 3. You see I stuck a little orange.
Okay.
They're kind of like, technically it's a grapefruit, but like whatever. And then we've already started working on a new record, but it's just barely beginning to take shape. But I'm already excited. Yeah. So
nice. So are you hoping for a 2026 release for that new album, or you think more like 2027?
I think most likely early 2027 would be ideal. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look forward to that. And I'm going to definitely grab up the 7-inch because I know the first pressing of your album sold out pretty quick. So that had to be nice.
Yeah, it did. That was cool. That's never happened to me before. So, get a 7-inch. We'll send you one.
Awesome. Yeah, I will definitely be grabbing one of those. And then I know you're playing Santa Ana, so I'm hoping to hit that one up as well on your tour with Wonderbar.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I mean, you're kind of in my area, so I'm sure there's shows that pop up through LA all the time.
Yeah.
And I never asked you that. How was it coming up in the LA scene? Because I know LA can be an indifferent town when it comes to live shows. So how was it for you coming up in that scene?
I think my experience of that was very fun. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know how common this is or whatever. I think everyone's path ends up being different, of course. But like, when we were like really getting our wheels turning and getting out there and playing and stuff, we ended up playing a lot at this venue that is now called the Goldfish, but used to be called the Hi-Hat. Mm-hmm. In Highland Park, and they booked us a lot. It wasn't like we played there like a ton, but it was sort of like a spot that like would always have us, and we played like a lot. I feel like we grew a lot at the Hi-Hat and played some of our more like early formative shows there, and the Echo, but definitely the Hi-Hat. And I don't know, having like that kind of like home base, like there was sort of a scene of bands that would play the Hi-Hat, which included bands like Drag and all kinds of other ones. But like, I think it was interesting because like, you know, at that point I was very much dreaming about the future. And the classic feelings of like, I'm already too late. Like, what am I doing? And, you know, all that stuff. And also being like, oh, but like, yeah, this is cool and all, but like, what about that? I don't like the Seattle scene of the 90s or the scene of the whatever. And it's like, that stuff always mostly like gets crystallized in retrospect. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it is true, of course it's true that it happened, but like I'm realizing now, and I think I realized it then too, it's like LA totally has a scene, especially then, and I don't know, like I felt very grateful to be a part of it, and I absolutely think that like it was being a part of that scene was helpful in like getting us more opportunities and just networking more. And we met this really cool band called Young Jesus that took us on our first tour, West Coast tour. I don't know, just stuff like that. We were just sort of grinding it out with like-minded peers.
Yeah.
And there wasn't always a defining through line of like genre that tied us all together necessarily. But it was real and like robust and absolutely like was like a heartening experience to be a part of. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Like,
that's great.
Yeah,
that's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate having you. And yeah,
thank you.
Everyone who's out there, if you haven't heard this album, check it out. I mean, I'm assuming there's a second pressing coming of the vinyl.
Yeah. Second pressing. I actually don't know the exact status of it, but it is, yeah. And I think the goal is to be ready for Europe and whatnot. So
awesome. Yeah, we always encourage people to buy physical media here because physical media lasts forever. It's the way to collect things. So check them out. They want to let people know where they can find you on social media.
Sure. Yeah. Instagram is at @notgoon. That's honestly the main one that I use. Our website is goonisaband.com. Those are the main ones.
Okay.
Yeah, I think TikTok is also not Goon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, check those out. I think I found you on Instagram, so that's kind of the main place I go because that's my main social media as well. That's where I post most of my stuff because with comic books, it's pictures, so people want to see the images, and Instagram just seems to be a friendlier place than Facebook nowadays.
Right. Yeah. Facebook's crazy.
Yeah. You are not wrong. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate having you, and I look forward to what's coming up this year and the rest of the future.
Dude, thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me.
All right.
It's great.
You're welcome. All right. So we're going to dig into the album now and talk about, this is what we do next. So if you wanted to hang out and listen, we're going to kind of just give our overall thoughts on the album. It's really up to you.
Okay. I might dip.
Okay. No problem. Thanks.
Great talking to you guys.
Great talking to you.
Thanks again for having me. See ya.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right. So we're going to dig into this album now. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I heard you fine. It was something about the settings he had because I was kind of hearing myself feeding back as well. But you know what? We make it work, and it was great to be able to have him on and get his insights on everything.
Yeah, still a good interview. Still,
technology.
I didn't miss anything. I didn't miss anything. So it was a good interview.
All right. So we'll kind of start in on our topics now. And we're going to go into, we don't need to talk about the history of the artist or history of the album. He gave us all that.
Yep.
Reviews. I did look into reviews. Hard to find reviews. When you're doing indie albums like this, there's no Pitchfork, Dewey Decimal, no Rolling Stone as of yet. I mean, hopefully as they progress, they'll get to those. But the reviews I found, everyone was positive. They have kind of a Metacritic-like thing that's out there that was at like an 80%. So yeah, overall strong reviews. And now we'll dig into kind of an easy one. What's your history with this band?
just now. I knew nothing of Goon till you brought, obviously you are the indie rock god. So, but yeah, enjoyed listening to Kenny talk. And I like to get it's almost now you're like almost knowing the history, like you lived it, because he's here talking about it. So
yeah,
but very enjoyable to listen to all the stories that he had. So this is my history tonight, for the most, other than listening to the album for the last couple of days.
Yeah,
but tonight is my history with Goon.
Yeah, mine, it's not that much longer than yours. It was, it was December, and I was playing albums, trying to hone in my list, kind of wanting to make that top 5 list for the year. So I'm playing albums that were kind of on the cusp. I had about 12 albums that I was playing and trying to see, will this one make the cut? And I was playing an album, the new album by the band Wombo. And like always, when you're playing Spotify, when the album ends, it'll start playing music that's in a similar genre that, you may also like, kind of thing. And it was one of the songs came on from Goon. It was actually For Cutting the Grass.
Right.
And that song came on after the Wombo album finished. And I was just like, oh, wait, what is this? That is really good. So of course, you stop your run, look at, okay, what is this? Like it immediately. And it's funny because it was at that point, I think it was the next stoplight that I hit. I sent a message to Kenny. And at that point, you don't even know who you're talking to. You're talking to the Instagram, and which member of the band is it? You don't know. So I sent the message to Kenny, and he was pretty quick to respond saying, yeah, I'll definitely come on for the interview. But it was new, kind of like with Shallow Water. Both bands came to me because of playing a different artist that is in a similar genre. And, people our age especially like to grumble about, when people are talking about their Spotify Wrapped and all that. We're like, I listen to CDs and I listen to albums, but Spotify, even though it's not great to the artist, that you can't take away that, it is a great place for musical discovery.
Absolutely.
And I always, if I love it, I go buy the physical media. I spend the money. Yep. I buy the album. I had to buy Shallow Waters on Discogs. I had to buy Goons on eBay. So, I mean, they were not available, but there was a record store who had a store on eBay and was selling it for, just regular price. So I didn't pay, like we've always talked about, we're not going to drop hundreds of dollars on anything. I mean, unless you're getting me, or, maybe a Tristessa 7-inch by Smashing Pumpkins. I'll drop the hundreds for that one. And oh man, that one kills me. It's kind of like when I was on your collecting show, when you were doing that, and I talked about that Jordan rookie that I had and lost. And my friend had the Tristessa 7-inch, and he had the IM1 7-inch, all these super early Smashing Pumpkin things. And he's like, I just need you to list them on eBay for me. So I listed and sold them on eBay for him. And it ripped a part of my heart out.
Yeah.
Putting those in the mail. It's like, oh, I can do it. And there was no friend prices, because I even asked, like, I'll give you $100 for them. He's like, no, they're going to fetch me like 400. So I had to sell them. But maybe one day, if I have infinite cash floating around, I'll rebuy the Michael Jordan rookie, and I'll rebuy those Smashing Pumpkins ones. But yeah, other than that, there's not a lot I'm going to drop the stupid money on when it comes to getting an album. All right. So we talked about our history, which is both of us pretty small, but now we know a lot more, obviously. Right. So overall thoughts. What are your overall thoughts with this album?
It was definitely new to me as far as overall, but I vibed right along with it for the most part. I was writing today, and I listened to it while I was writing, and you don't get any there's no negative feedback or anything, from me when it comes to that, because you can just write right along with it. The beats, it flows well. Overall, enjoyed the majority of the album, and enjoyed, and I liked his talk about the lyrics. Again, this is another one of those kind of ones where you're just like, I'm wondering, where these lyrics came from. I don't know if we're doing that. What was Kenny thinking, or whatever we're doing? But I have, if we have that, I have one lined up. But overall, really good to listen to. It's you could definitely feel the emotion. The emotion was there, and just really good, nice flowing album. So
yeah, because I know it came from a big place of heartache, and he kind of hinted at that. But I've since reading more about it, it was conceived as almost kind of, it's his divorce album. And when you're doing that, it's funny because you could approach it in a straight ahead way, where it's just sadness. But I think doing it the way he did it, where he made them a little more poetic and a little more esoteric with the lyrics doesn't just lead to that straight ahead, but the music, it definitely tells the story that there's a lot he's going through, and it's got, kind of this dreamlike quality. But the dream, I just said the dream is kind of mired with dark clouds. It's like you have this beautiful rainbow dream, which I love the cover with the rainbow, but you feel the dark clouds creeping in, and you feel the edges are just broken of this dream, where it's not a perfect dream when it's called Dream 3, and it's kind of like this dream is it's seeped in some darkness, and there's a lot that there's positivity to be found in the album, but it's more of that I'm going to get through this positivity, not, life's good, let's whistle a happy tune. It's definitely this dream mired in darkness. And I mean, the more I discover my listening habits, I listen to dark stuff all the time. Like I don't think, like, you think about like Pharrell happy, like that is the opposite of my musical taste. Like if I need someone the opposite Pharrell that sings the song sad, because that's my vibe. And this album fit the vibe well, and it was kind of matching with the other stuff I listen to. And I love the kind of, it's got that shoegazy psychedelic vibe going to it.
Definitely psychedelic.
That's definitely my wheelhouse. Sometimes, I mean, my wheelhouse always changes. I don't have a specific one wheelhouse, but this is one of them. And yeah, sad music. And then like, it's funny because I'm listening to all the female artists, and it's like, yes, the sad indie girl vibe, that's also my thing. And the ones, if you looked in my record collection, the ones you would think would be April's albums, they're mine. It's like, nope. That Phoebe Bridgers, that's my jam. Fuck it, I don't care.
No.
I got the sad 13-year-old girl heart going on, and it's all right.
That's all right.
Because my daughters will look and be like, "That's yours, Dad." Like, yeah, that's mine.
Your mom can't take the blame
for that. Your mom would, your mom, their mom would be grabbing the bad, 70s rock.
Yeah.
That's her vibe, because she was her Spotify age was 65, and it's like, that's right.
Well, I was 72, so April, I'm right there with you.
You both got the old vibes, but that's all right. I'll bring you the younger stuff, so you can bring it down to the 50s and be your proper age. So yes, have a good evening. I guess I'll see you at work tomorrow, Janice. So thank you for tuning in, and yes, it's worth checking out, especially if you got Spotify. I mean, you can get it that way. The vinyl will be out soon enough, so hopefully not too long that people can actually get it if they heard it and want to check out more. So let's dig into our favorite songs. So go ahead. What was one of your favorite songs on this one?
Mean, every time we were on this show, one of the main things we talk about is a good opener.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you about a good opener. And that is Begin Here. Yeah. This sets the tone for the album, in my opinion. This song sets the tone. It's as we told Kenny, it's my favorite song on there. Mm-hmm. It just really pulls you in. The like he was talking about with the melody and arranging it, and it just, now that just the story that he tells about it endears me to the song even more. So
yeah.
But this is one of those songs where you're in it from the I mean from the moment that the music starts to the end of the song. You're in it. And again, and this is another one of those albums where the lyric, you're not writing me a sentence.
No.
You're writing me a poem, or it's poetry, like you said.
Almost feels like stanzas, not not direct sentences.
Not direct sentences, very much stanza. And it's, and we'll talk about it when we get the lyrics, but that one was really good. My other one that I liked, Sun Sweeping, a very emotional.
Yeah.
And Patsy's Twin. Those, and for Cutting Grass, that's probably my top 4. And I looked at a lot of different reviews. Like you said, I was trying to find reviews as well, and a lot of people have Begin Here a little bit lower on their top ranking. I just for some reason, um, just like we go all the way back to when we did our very first one
with the
and
Cure, yeah,
the Cure, and that very first song that opened up that album, you knew what you were getting.
it brings you right in. Yeah,
And
you know the vibe the album's going to be bringing, and a good opener, it makes you want more. I mean, a bad opener makes you want to take the needle off, and that's that's the danger. If you don't sequence it right and you don't get a hook straight away, it's not going to work. It's kind of like I think of Chuck, my editor, and he'll always say, for your odd pages, like, this is a weak turn page. Your audience is not going to turn to the next page. They're going to turn back to the cover and fold that book in. And the same is true with an album. It's kind of the turn page of the album, that first song. Do you want to explore it more based on what you hear? And this song, like I said, it sets the mood of the album, where you're kind of going to be in that dreamy psychedelic vibe, but it's also like I said, the dark clouds are on the sides of it. They're not, it's not quite that perfect dream, and it just lets you know, and it puts you right in the mood for the album and makes you want to keep going. So that's the best thing an opening song can do, is pull you in.
The title of that song, Begin Here, is apropos.
Yeah.
It is. You begin here, and I loved it. And
yes.
So yeah, that's my top 4.
Yeah. So I had Patsy's Twin as well. I love that one because it's it starts the same way. You get that kind of dreamy psychedelic vibe going, and then it just builds into a death metal explosion. So it's kind of like, you think where it's going, and then it takes it, and all of a sudden you hear that do 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 do, and it like hits that riff, and you're getting that scream, like almost screamo level, and it's like, okay, that was not what I expected. And I think that's the best thing about that song is it goes to a place you would not expect it. It definitely moves away from its straight line, and that one is a strong one. I had, for Cutting the Grass, I liked the acoustic kind of lead in that one. That's also the first one that I found of theirs. So yeah, it's it's just that beautiful acoustic that's kind of the lead guitar, and then the psychedelic built around it. It's that psychedelic shoegaze thing. And it's funny because shoegaze seems to be coming up, because you have we had Shallow Water, that's dirt gaze, but in essence it's just a different kind of shoegaze. So it's definitely coming back into the mainstream. And I guess perfect time to cover My Bloody Valentine when we get to that one. Kind of one of the originators of that, even though they probably wouldn't want to be called shoegaze when it all comes down to it.
What I find, like I said, Begin Here is my favorite song, but I feel like Grass is the most replayable song.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense. Like I can I can sit there and replay it and replay it and replay it.
Yeah,
I know that sounds weird. Like, wouldn't that be your favorite? No, not necessarily. I mean,
doesn't always equal that.
It doesn't always equal that, but it's I just felt that was a very replayable song.
Oh yeah, I agree. So I also had Fine. I liked that one. When he was talking about it, I was saying that one was one of my favorites, and that one is pretty sparse when it comes to the lyrics. So it's got a lot of build, because none of the songs, I mean, some of them they don't have a lot of lyrics, but they're not quick, short songs. I mean, these are songs that go on for 3 to 4 minutes, and some a little bit longer. And yeah, it's just, I love that one. And then the closer of the album I thought was really strong as well, Jaw. So it's just it's a powerful, it's a dark closer. And now it's, by this point in the album, the dream is now completely covered in clouds. The clouds have taken over, and it's just this grime covered nightmare to close it out, where you just like, okay, he's pouring it out, these emotions. When we get to the lyrics, we can talk about that, because I had some of those lyrics in there, but it just hits that emotional peak, and it's a perfect way to do it. Close out the album with that, just kind of the sinking feeling that you get. So it's not the way he wrote it with the emotions that were connected to it. It wasn't meant to be a happy album.
Right.
It's,
It was not.
when I was talking about, Floaters, which he's not going to know one or the other, it was never meant to be a happy book, because the circumstances were just like, let me try to make something positive out of this horrible place that I'm in. So
Yeah.
I'm sure with this, he never wanted it to be, a cheerful, happy album. Maybe that's the next one, because you always get it's funny with bands. You get the breakup albums, and then you get the I'm in Love album, and you get that stark contrast of them.
Yeah.
I think about with Death Cab for Cutie, I think it was Codes and Keys that was their like I'm in Love with Zoe Deschanel album, followed by Fuck Her, that album. So I forget.
I don't like Zoe Deschanel anymore.
No, Codes and Keys I think was the breakup album. Yeah. And they did their album where it's, all of these, I'm so happy I'm in love. And yeah, it's that contrast. And honestly, if I'm reaching for a Death Cab for Cutie album, I'm not reaching for the I'm in Love with Zoe Deschanel album.
Right.
I was like, let me hear the one where the breakup album, because it's just more interesting. It has a lot more to say. But I guess when you're listening to Death Cab for Cutie, you kind of look for the one happy album is never going to be what people reach for.
Right. You're right.
And with this one, with Goon, if he were to go and create the I'm in Love, This Is So Happy album, would anyone want it? I don't know. I don't think that's what I'd be there for. All right. So yeah, let me see. Did I have any other ones? Yeah, those were the ones that I had written down. So let's dig into the best lyrics. So what are some lyrics that stood out for you on this one?
Again, the poetic of it is so good. But I'll start with begin here. I love the first verse, but the second verse gets me. The juniper spans the hillside, lilac softens the ground, brown widow's favorite scrub patch, dry leaves blowing around. You feel it. You feel he's trying to paint a pretty picture, but then you get the brown widows, and then you get the dry leaves, and it's just crumbling a little bit.
Yeah, there's that darkness hiding in all of these pieces, and just like you say, the dry leaves, and there's always that hint of darkness along the edges of all of this album.
Yeah, and then you go into cutting grass, and in half light near the weekend, some throwing, some were swinging. Yeah, unmake the ruddy ground. Yeah, new nightmares coming down where the grass meets the ground, there between you and me. Man.
Yeah. Put on your English lit hat and interpret
Kenny,
some stuff.
If you're still listening and you're out there, I want to pick your brain on some of these fantastic lyrics. It's really good, and it's up again. While we know what the album is about, it's kind of up for interpretation a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of want to know this. This is the one where I love the way it's laid out, but I want to know exactly where you're at in this, Kenny. And if you're listening again, I would like to know. But a great one. And then the other one, and then I'll hand it back over to you. And this is the one. This is what was Kenny talking about here? Patsy's Twin. Cicadas in the Yard with Katie and Olivia. Summer Undone and Abaddon, and Under the Parking Lot.
That one, and that song takes that kind of weird twist where it's almost like a killer out on a spree. So it moves in odd directions lyrically, it moves in unexpected directions musically, and I think that's what makes it so memorable. Is you just you see it kind of opens with Cicadas in the Yard, and you think it's going to be another kind of maybe love lost song, and then it gets into all the other. Let me see, I gotta pull that.
I love the song. I love the lyrics. I just want to know. To me, I don't think I can interpret that the way that you're wanting to
Yeah.
come. This is one of those songs where this has a meaning to
Yes.
Kenny.
Yes.
And while I think a lot of songs can be open to interpretation, there is a definite 100% meaning behind this. And I love it. And again, I want to know what that means. So if you're listening,
Yeah.
please let me know, because it's fantastic. It's just a good song. And again, the lyrics for me, I don't, I can go back to country music and listen to the full blown sentence songs or the lyrics.
Mhm.
And the last two, or not the last, but we did with Shallow Water and we did with Goon here. It's poetic, and
Yeah.
I like the poetic side of lyrics. I'm not a good poet in any stretch
No,
of
not me either.
the means, and I think when I get more poetic songs, I think that endears you a little bit more. Like, because I can
Mhm.
write I can write my girlfriend left me and I need to go get my truck,
Yeah.
and my dog is gonna hate me if I don't get her back.
Hmm.
And I don't mean that in a negative connotation. I mean that that's kind of what country is in a way, and I love that.
Mhm.
That's Dash's opinion on it. But
Yeah.
these lyrics here, I love that you can, like you said, stanza. You can almost iambic pentameter to them without uh the melody and the music behind it. You can almost
Mhm.
put it to iambic pentameter, and you're just like so
Yes.
good. So that's my relatively English lit degree
Bringing your
thoughts on it.
interpretations. Yes.
Bringing my
I like that.
interpretation.
Yeah. And then it gets to the guy bringing the gun and everything else in that song. So
It's still such a good song.
it moves in so many
Yes,
directions, and you got to
yeah,
love it.
yeah, it was great.
All right. So let's see. Here's some lyrics I had closer to. So where it says, next
Good
one is
song.
a big
Good
one.
song.
Oh, close your eyes. Let's try. Linger on with the scum atop the pond. So again, you know that this is not the happy relationship. This is a
Yeah.
crumbling relationship that's falling apart, and he's finding metaphors to connect to what's going on. And you get a lot of that through this album, just these metaphors of a crumbling relationship. The leaves, the dried leaves blowing. I mean, everything is just the relationship has crumbled, and he's telling us all about it in many different ways. So that was on Closer To. On Patsy's Twin, it's forming in the fog and feeling so familiar. Will it unglue or find a way to all bitter and rotted out? So again, they're not straight sentences,
Mm-mm.
but you get the idea. That's something, the feeling's unfamiliar because they're instead of feeling in love, it's the falling out of love. And it's ungluing and it's bitter, it's rotted. So yeah, then it becomes a guy bringing a gun. So it's that's a wild song. It's one of those ones where I don't like asking an artist like, what do you mean by this? Because when I think of a lot of musicians, and when I've heard them ask that question, generally they get grumpy. They're like, you know what? We wrote this for you to figure out,
Right.
not for us to spell it out for you. So I don't think I'd ever ask that one, more just kind of the songwriting process. Cause yeah, you don't want the musician to be like, all right, you got a brain, figure it out. So that's us. We gotta dig deep. If we had Jeff Tweedy from Wilco on here, it's like, yeah, well, here's what we interpret it. What do you think? And
Right.
well, we could be completely off, we could be completely right. But then again, once a musician or any artist puts their work into the world, you're giving it to those other interpretations. So everyone can be right and wrong at the same time. So let's see. Yeah, for Cutting the Grass, I had that one. And on that final day, standing reaching, the ribbon seemed to say, come beseeching. I'm almost sure I heard sounds of screeching. There's still a curse there because we are sleeping in. So yeah, all of it is just that the darkness on the edge of a dream. And it's all just moving toward nightmare. And everything is that one step closer to moving into a nightmare.
Absolutely.
And then let's see, I had Sun Sweeping, ardent green place with a home for fish and guppies. I used to be that. I used to be a pet from the lakeside to the bottom where I'm sinking, settle down here, come to rest where. So yeah, it even
that's
ends.
a good, yeah.
It doesn't end, as a proper complete sentence, but you get the idea. It's like, okay, I was that pet, now I'm sinking in the lake. So yeah, there's not a lot of cheerfulness to be had on this album. So what he's doing is these vibes he's creating are just really working well.
Yeah.
And then Jaw, that's the closer of the album. So man, sometime over the summer, yes, sinking all the way under now. Sweet dreams over the tundra. Something clinging to nothing. Sometime over the summer, sinking all the way down under. So it's just again that sinking. You get the sinking metaphor. And sinking all the way under. Birch tree wanted to kiss me. Something clinging to nothing now. So yeah, there's just, you see that it's going. So sweet dreams over the tundra, and then something clinging to nothing. So it's really just, it's all lost by the time we reach Jaw. It's all sinking, and yeah, there's clinging to nothing. So that's kind of where you reach the end of the album, and you've reached the end of this relationship, and knowing that it's over. There's nothing more to cling to. So yeah, those were the lyrics I grabbed. I grabbed quite a few because he gave a lyric sheet, and props to him for that.
Props.
Yes. We always complain when they don't have one, like our next album that we're going to be doing. So no lyric sheet. Got to go online to find them. But now we'll go to the next one. Any skips for you?
Unfortunately, yeah. It's the only instrumental on there. Well,
okay.
Toluca. Nothing against it. It's not that it fits the vibe, but I just, I want to hear.
You want more lyrics?
I want more lyrics, and it's not that I will like. I'm not skipping it because it's bad. Let's lay that out there. It's not a bad song. I just want. This thing was giving me great lyrics all the way through, and then I hit Toluca, and I'm like, what? What?
You're waiting for the lyrics?
I was waiting. I was waiting and waiting and waiting. So, not a bad song, just not one that, I mean, I can take it or leave it, and it's not. But the rest of the album, that's the only one I had. Everything else, great vibes to the song and or to the album, and I just that's the only one that I would just pass on. I'm not going to get up out of my, if it is,
you're not moving the needle.
I'm not moving the needle.
Yeah, it's rare to find one that makes me have to move the needle. We've had our few, don't get me wrong, but it's harder. But yeah, I didn't have any skips. I liked it as an instrumental. Like you said, I liked the lyrics. I liked being in there, but I think because, like I was saying before, I start with the vibes, and it keeps you in the vibe of the album. The lyrics come after the vibes, and like I was saying, there's songs where I then interpret the lyrics like, dang, I had no idea it was talking about this. I don't feel this song the same way anymore, and I want to go back to my ignorance. But yeah, with this one, doing it for this show, we kind of have to dig into the lyrics. I can't wait years to find out what its meaning actually is.
So, like you said, some you just don't want to know.
Yeah, and when you find out, you're just like, oh, ouch. Because there's the Hotelier has a song, and it ends up being about his girlfriend's suicide, and I never picked it up till I was listening closer. I was using because it had a good beat, and I'm listening to it. I'm running a marathon. I was like, wait, fuck, that's what that song's about. Damn it, no. Bring me back to my ignorance, where I just thought it was a cool head bopping thing. And then, when you really find it out, you just, oh man, it's a powerful song, but it's too much. It becomes too powerful. So with these ones, I think with that one, it's more of your straight ahead sentences, where this one, with it being more poetic, having to interpret it makes it so the lyrics, you know what they mean. You get the feelings, but they don't come out like that, where it's just like, suicide and all that. And it's just a difficult listen once you know what it's all about. and I forget the name of the song, so I apologize. If you know it in the chat, drop it in there. I'm sure everyone has like, oh yes, they're all giant Hotelier fans, but
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
it's a good band. You should listen to them. They are very good. I give them my recommendation. Like all my stuff, the stuff you haven't heard of doesn't mean it's bad, just means you don't know it. But let's, I guess, easy category. We're going to keep this one or bring it to the use bin.
No, I'm keeping it because again, like I said, this is a good album to write to, or just a good album to if you're in the emotional mood.
Yes,
it's a good listen to. But this is one where you can listen to it at any time. Be honest with you, like I said, I just vibed right along with it, and the words were flowing.
Yes.
So, and I think it's because you're, or at least for me, it was because I was so enraptured into the music, and you were just like, I can write to this. This is really good, and
yeah,
I'm not distracted. I'm not distracted by what I'm writing, and I'm not distracted by what I'm listening to. Thank you to the military for allowing me to be able to multitask, and so
yeah, I can't do lyrics when I'm listening. So this one I won't. I mean, maybe the instrumental I could throw it in.
yeah.
But yeah, for me, lyrics just they distract me so much. But that's all right. I can listen to it. It's one that I can do on a run. I played it when I was running, and it didn't. It has enough movement where it works for a run. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely could do it. And it's Your Deep Rest by the Hotelier. So it was gonna bug me. So for those seeking it out, it's got kind of the way the lyrics and the way the song is structured, they definitely juxtapose each other, where you're gonna think it's like kind of a head bopping, kind of poppy emo song, and then you read the lyrics, you're like, oof, pain. Yeah. So yes, that one is one. When I finally listened to the lyrics carefully, it hit hard, but still a good song, still a great album. That's that Hotelier album. I think it just had its 10th anniversary because I just saw a show for it. It's the Home. What is it? Home like no place is there. So yeah.
Wow. Well, I know I passed the run test for you. This definitely had the dash head bob.
Had the head bob test. So perfect.
Had the head bob.
All right, so it will not be next week because next week I will be at an appointment. But next week, in 2 weeks, we will be talking about Jeff Buckley Grace with Lori Calcaterra. She'll be joining us. Will she actually like one of the albums we picked?
Probably
I think
not.
she was kind of mid on, definitely not there for 38 Special, but was more in the middle on Queens of the Stone Age. I think my fandom of Queens of the Stone Age was the only reason I was as high on it, and both of you were more in the it's okay range. But this Jeff Buckley album is, it's his one and only album because he tragically passed away before he could release his second album. They released it, but you just don't know if it would have ever been something he would have wanted to release because it wasn't done. So it's when you get those posthumous albums, you can listen to them, but you don't know if it was ever what he would have endorsed and put out.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's one of those albums that it gets talked about a lot, and I've never heard it. All I've heard is Hallelujah from it. That's the only one that I know.
That's the most famous one that he did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
and that's of course a cover, but I'm interested to hear this now.
Yep.
All right. So that is in 2 weeks. We'll be talking about that. And then I will be on Saturday morning comic talk. And then you will be on Sunday with your creator talk. So yeah.
We got book reviews. We got book reviews this weekend. So we'll be doing our monthly book reviews. And then, but we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Should be fun.
All right.
But until then, have a good rest of your week. I will see you on Saturday.